What about being tolerant of others? This is the big thing here in the U.S., in North America, and over in Europe. You got to be tolerant. You can't say Jesus is the only way. That's being intolerant. Well, let's look at that. I want to present 3 answers for that. First of all, this ethical objection to say it's unethical to say Jesus is the only way. The ethical objection is inconsistent. Now, Greg Koukl spoke in the previous session. He was talking about, the inconsistency of saying there's no truth, right? There is no such thing as truth. Well, is that the truth? I can't speak a word in English. What about that? That's self-refuting. There are no absolutes. All those things, if they're true, they're false. What about saying, hey, you're being intolerant, and I'm not going to tolerate it? So it's inconsistent. I remember several years ago, I was on go back one, please. I was on previous slide, yeah. I was on an elevator in Norfolk, Virginia, and this woman got on, and so we're going down the elevator. She ended up being a physicist from NASA. And somehow, I don't know how it came up, but we started talking about the origin of morals, and she thought they were she thought they were part of the furniture of the universe. So we started talking about these things, and it lasted for a while. Now, we weren't on the elevator the whole. Elevators have their ups and downs, but we weren't on the elevator the entire time. We got off the elevator, we went out in the parking lot, we were talking. We probably talked for about 45 minutes, and finally, I said to her, "Do you and your husband really enjoy talking about these things?" "Oh, yeah, we do." Well, my wife and I, we have a group over our house a couple times a year, maybe 3-4 times a year. My wife and I are the only Christians, but we have a couple, and one's a Buddhist, the other's an agnostic. We've got all different kinds of religious beliefs and worldview, people who come to this. We have coffee, donuts, we talk about things very respectfully, we enjoy doing these things, and we know we come to seek truth, to talk about truth. We get along very well. We know we're all going to challenge one another, so is this something you and your husband would like to come to? "Oh, yeah, we would." So we exchanged contact information. A couple months later, I called her up, and her husband picked up the phone. And so I introduced myself, and he said, "Oh, yeah, I remember my wife telling me about you. Yeah, we would love to come to your meeting, because you know what I don't like about Christians?" Well, then I knew it was going to get kind of interesting. So I said, "Tell me. You got the floor, tell me." He says, "What I don't like about Christians, you guys think you're the only way, there is no other way." And he just went on and on for about a good 3 minutes. And so finally he took a breath for a second, and I figured this could be a good place to jump in. And I said, before you go on, let me make sure I understand you correctly. You're saying that you don't like it when a Jew says that she's right and everybody else is wrong. Yep, that's what I'm saying. And you don't like it when a Muslim says he's right and everybody else is wrong. Yep, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. And you don't like it when a Christian says that she's right and everybody else is wrong. That's exactly what I'm saying. Everybody ought to have the right to believe whatever they want and not push their views on anyone else. And so I said, "Well, why are you pushing your view on me?" "Huh?" "Yeah, I mean, you think that all ways can get you to heaven, and it doesn't matter what you believe, and you can get to heaven." Well, that's your view. And you don't think that it's right to try to convince someone of your view, but yet you're trying to convince me of your view by telling me that I can't practice my religious beliefs. Jesus said that I'm going to go out and tell others. If you don't like that, well then, I didn't make this up. Take it up with him. I'm just going by what he taught. But see, you're trying to push your view on me. It seems to me you're just as intolerant and bigoted as those you abhor. Well, it got really quiet, and then he had to go do something else at that point, and they never showed up for the meeting. I don't know why, but you can see that it's inconsistent. The ethical objection is inconsistent. Second is the ethical objection is insensitive, culturally speaking. Now, several years ago, I had a panel discussion with a Muslim professor on the campus of Old Dominion University. And it was, why I'm a Christian or why I'm a Muslim. Really a collegial discussion between us, warm discussion. And during the Q&A period, there was a guy in the back, and he raised his hand, and he said, "Now, why do you guys hate each other?" And I said, "Hate each other? I don't know, I thought we've had a pretty warm discussion. I mean, I don't hate him. I love the guy. And I don't get the feeling that he hates me." He was like sitting where you're sitting, and he's going. It seems to me that in our post-Christian, our politically correct Western culture, tolerance gets a new definition. It's not a matter that you just have to allow someone to have their own opinion. You have to say that their opinion is equally valid. And that is culturally insensitive because he's Middle Eastern. And if you hang around Middle Easterners, you'll start to find out that this politically correct stuff is a real turnoff to them. You might think you're being nice to them. They think you're a wuss. And if I had said that your view is equally valid, his view is equally valid as mine, he would have said, the only reason you could say that, Mike, is because you have no convictions about your own view. And I don't respect you. So I said, you're preferring your politically correct subculture over Middle Eastern culture, and you don't care about Christian evangelical culture, you offended them either. You just care about your own culture and pushing your own views. So it's culturally insensitive. Third, the ethical objection ignores truth. Now, about three and a half years ago, my mom, who was in her late 60s at the time, was in the shower. She hadn't had a mammogram for over 5 years, and she felt a lump on her right breast. She went to the doctor, and they took a biopsy. They called her back, and they said, Joy, that's her name. And they said, Joy, we have some very bad news for you. You have stage 4 breast cancer. It has spread to your lymph nodes, and it's in the bone of your back. This is very serious. Now, here's what we are recommending for you. We recommend that you go through several months of chemotherapy, and then we have surgery. We remove your right breast, all your lymph nodes, and then after that, follow up with 7 weeks of intense radiation, and then after that, be on medication the rest of your life. Now, this will be very difficult for you. Your skin's going to age prematurely. Your hair's going to fall out. You're going to feel horrible. You're going to feel weak. You're going to just feel nauseous all the time. You're not going to want to eat anything. Everything's going to taste bad when you eat it. Nothing's going to taste good. So it's going to be bad. It's going to be about horrible. The next year of your life, if you choose to go this route, it's going to be perhaps the worst in your life. But if you want any chance of surviving at all, this is what we recommend you do. That's the truth. It's a hard truth, but it's truth. I think the worst thing that physician could have done is to say that and then say, but you know what? That's just my opinion. There are others that would say, just eat some chicken soup and take some extra vitamin C, think positively, and who am I to say they're wrong? That would be unethical. And if we would say that that would be unethical when it comes to a person's life, isn't it much even more unethical to do the very same thing when we're talking about the eternal destiny of a person's soul? If Jesus rose from the dead, if Christianity is true, we have the greatest news to give. And some people aren't going to like that news. But that's okay. It's still great news. They can have eternal life, and if they reject it, you go on, you talk to the next person.